Down to Earth podcast, the Down to Earth network, with your host, Sean Myrie. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Right? This one doesn't look good, right? Doesn't look good for a lot of people in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Recent news, recent news. You're next. Now, they are putting together, or they already put it together to get rid of a lot of people in Minnesota. And coincidence, that's where the ICE shit is going on with the riots and stuff like that, or not riots, I should say, protest. Well, Minnesota has the biggest Somalian population in America, the biggest. Um, they say there's immigrants or they're refugees, but they got temporary protective status. Temporary protective status, right? Minnesota has people who are actually born in America. There's generational, I guess, first generation Somalis who are born there, but he's going to take away the status. The American government is going to take away, well, it's called temporary and protective status. So they feel now that it's safe for them to go back to Somalia because there's no real threat there. And I'm hearing that Trump doesn't even want the Somalians in America anyways. So in March, right? In March, they're planning to deport, correct me if I'm wrong, deport 2,500 people. That's what they're planning to do. Deport 2,500 people, maybe more, from Minnesota, Minneapolis, the whole state, right? They're going to be deporting. So you're next. Like, what is going on? This is crazy. Like I'm saying, he's doing a filtering job. He plans to deport a whole bunch of Somalians, but it's not good because guess where they're going to go? They're not just going to go back to Somalia. A lot of them are going to probably go to other countries like the UK, and they're going to come to Canada. So a whole bunch of Somalians are going to make their way to Canada, and they're gonna be going to the UK. American, influence. Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? I really don't know, but them deporting a whole bunch of Somalians, is that gonna solve the problem in Minneapolis, Minnesota, or is it an example they want to put out? But right now, 100%, if you are from Somalia, you're in threat of being deported soon. That's what they're doing. They're going to be deporting a whole bunch of Somalians back to Somalia by March. 2,500 of them. I don't know the population, what's in Minnesota, but they're saying Minnesota has the biggest Somali population in America. So there must be at least thousands and thousands and thousands of Somalians, and he's saying you're next. They're serious. He's saying because Somalia's in a better situation now, so there's no reason for them to have a temporary protective status, right? Remember, it says temporary, temp, temporary, right? And they protected their status. They're gonna lose their work, whatever. If they were working, they're gonna lose all of that. This happened because the spotlight of the daycare scam. America doesn't like to be scammed. So because of the daycare scamming that was going on in the media, this is why it's happening, because of the daycare scamming. So doesn't look good, people. It doesn't look good. Does not look good, especially for a lot of the people who are in Minnesota who have Somali background. If your parents was one of these people and you're born there, what's going to happen? You're going to leave the American born Somali in America and deport the parents? Because how long was this temporary protective status around? That's what I want to know. How long did this exist? Was it 5 years? Was it 10 years? Has it been 20 years? Because if it's 20 years, come on, you're going to have people who's been temporary in America for 20 years. By that time, they had children. So you'll deport their parents, who could be the ones who are supporting them. And then what? What's going to happen? They're forcing people out. They're forcing people out of America. They have the right to do it if it's temporary. They have a right to do it. So a lot of crazy shit definitely is going to be going on in that state of Minneapolis, Minnesota for the next couple of months. Everywhere in America, but especially down there, because they 100% will be deporting a lot of Somalians. And they're starting with 2,500 by March. So right now it's January. So in the next January, February, that's going to go really fast. By the time March, they're going to be deporting 2,500 to start. That's 2,500 families or whatever. That's a lot of people. Like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it will affect a lot of people, and he doesn't care. He's going to deport them straight back to Somalia. A lot of them don't want to go back to Somalia because there's, conflicts and probably still war, some type of war. So a lot of those people are going to be going to the UK and Canada. So we're going to start to see, damn, influx of immigrants, right? And UK will take in a lot of the Somali people from Minnesota. Canada, for sure, will take in a lot of the Somali people from Canada, for sure. I mean, to Canada, a lot of them. But these ones who are going to be coming are Americanized, really Americanized. So I don't know if it's going to be like kind of a little bit different right now. It's not going to be people who came straight from Somalia. It's going to be basically American influence coming into Canada and the UK, because they're not going back to Somalia. They don't want to go back to Somalia. A lot of them are on their way right now. It's only like 2 months, barely 2 months, until he starts putting ICE out there to deport a whole bunch of Somalians. So if you read the description, the temporary protective status, that's over. So what you're gonna do when they come for you? Yeah, you're next. That's what I named the episode. What are you going to do when they come for you? Because they are coming. They're saying it. He's boldly said he doesn't want the Somalians in America. Minnesota is the most populated state with Somalians. So this is what they got on the people down there. Certain people, temporary protective status. Temporary protective status. That means the people who came there, if you are still under that status, you have no rights to stay in America. That's finished. They're finishing that. So you must know with Trump that this was going to happen. Anybody who never thought this was going to happen with Donald Trump in a different universe or something. But right now, a lot of the Somali community in Minneapolis, Minnesota, is in threat of being displaced, right? Kicked out of America. That's what's going to happen, right? Kicked out of America. I hope you know that. So how's this going to affect other people? The problem is going to be going on to others. I'm not going to say it's a problem, but they're making it an issue, because if you don't kick out all these Somalis, of course Canada is going to take in these Somalians. They're going to take them in, right? Of course the UK is going to take them in. So he is doing a filtration system that they only could come back if they have a visa or something like that. They're not going to be able to come back to America. But what's bad is you're breaking families up. You're going to be breaking thousands and thousands of families up. But he doesn't care. Um, he does not care how much families are going to be affected by this. 100% take this in, that by March, a whole bunch of Somalis will be gone. from Minnesota. Right now, they're probably rounding them up with the ICE. So if you're from that background, you don't want to be out in the streets now. You want to, man, it's a bad thing. You're gonna have to hide. Definitely, you're going to have to hide away because they're coming for you. The ICE is coming for you. Trump has put it out there. They want to take the temporary status protection, whatever, the temporary protective status, they're taking it away. The only thing what I don't like is, man, like respect. Like we want to help people, but they're going to be flooding other countries. So does UK want the Somalis from America? They're already overpopulated in certain cities down there, right? So my best bet, they're coming to Canada. A big percentage of them are going to be coming to Canada. And is that going to help? Will the Prime Minister of Canada take in these Somalis from Minnesota? Will they do that? That's going to be a kind of itchy situation. That's going to be interesting if they take them in. Will they take them in? I don't know, but it's not a good situation. And the reason why this is happening is because of the spotlight of those daycare centers, saying it was fraud, that there's no children in these centers and they're getting funded from the government. So once you play with the government money, they start digging and they start the investigations, and then it leads to them saying, yo, we're taking away all the status from these Somalians. We're going to kick them out. He's basically saying we're kicking them out. He's saying we're going to kick all these Somalis out. Minnesota has a big population of them, so he's going to kick them out. Anyone who's with this temporary status shit, right? They're gone. They're gone. I don't know the population of them, how much people came to America with the temporary protective status. I don't know the population. I would like to know the population of people who came with that shit, right? How much Somalis from Minnesota came with that protective, uh, the temporary protective status? How much of them? If there's a Because they say Minnesota has the biggest population of Somalis. So if the majority of them have temporary protective status, and how long, I don't know how long they had it, but if the majority of them have it, that means they're going to cleanse Minnesota how they see it, and they're going to get rid of a good amount of Somalis who will be kicked out of America, right? They're starting in March, not too long from now. 2,500 of them will be gone, and a lot of them will lose their jobs if they're working. Um, if this temporary protective status been around for 20 years, some of them have children, so some parents will be deported, and their children will be left in America. So a lot of them are going to be going to the UK. A lot of them will be coming to Canada for sure. 100%. I think the majority of them are going to be coming to Canada. Much respect. Catwalk, see you again. Majority of them are going to be coming to Canada, right? It's going to create probably some problems over in Canada. It's going to create problems if they go to the UK, like it or not, because not everybody's going to be welcoming. I want to know how long this temporary protective status been around in Minnesota. I want to know, especially from an American that knows a lot. I want to know how long this been around, because right now they're in threat of getting kicked out. It doesn't help that all this controversy is going on in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now I understand why he is deploying a whole bunch of ICE agents in Minnesota. I understand now. The reason he's deploying all these agents, I'm sorry, it's like you gotta laugh sometimes what this guy does. Because he knows there's a big population of people who are quote unquote temporary and illegal. know if it's normal for American officers to stand in front of a running car. No, I don't know. There's probably been situations like that. I don't think it's normal for an officer, right, to be standing in front of a car. But he's an ICE agent. He's not a normal. Some officers been criticizing the ICE agents in America and saying that ICE agents are not normal or educated law enforcement. But right now, Minnesota is a big target. Minneapolis is a big target. First the daycare thing, and now this whole thing with the lady who they're saying got killed unalived by an ICE agent. But now he's going after the population. He's going to punish Minnesota. He's going to punish the people there. So the uprisings is not helping the Somali population there. Remember, they're saying that that city, majority of them are Somalis in Minnesota, right? But he stood there and killed someone out of fear, and it's like he has a license to kill because they're saying America's protecting him. They're even doing a GoFundMe for this guy. Minnesota is not its own country. Yes, Minnesota is not its own country. It's its own state. But do you know what I'm talking about? He wants to take away the temporary protective status from the Somalis who are there right now. A lot of them are on that status, and they've been in America for a good while. I don't know how long they've been there for, how long this temporary protective status been around, but he's ordering them to the ICE to do their job and get rid of at least 2,500 of them by March. 2,500 of them, they know for a fact, are temporary protect. They got this status shit. Well, how much more will it affect? Because they say that Minnesota has the biggest population of Somalis, and it's not just 2,500. I'm guessing there's probably, I don't even know the population of Minnesota, but I'm guessing there's over 30,000. I'm guessing there's at least 30,000 Somalis that live in Minnesota. Could be more. Could be more, but they're saying there's at least a good population down there. They're saying that Somalia is not a danger. It has a better situation now. So there's no reason for the Somalians what are in Minnesota to be there because they could go back home. That's what Trump and the administration is saying right now. They could go back home because it's not the same, right? But they're not going to go back home. A lot of them, if they're smart, which a lot of them will do this, they're going to leave right now. They better leave right now if they don't want to go back to Somalia. They better go. He's basically threatening them that if you don't go, ICE is going to deport you straight back. So go somewhere. The UK, best for them, or Canada. Canada's close by to Minnesota, so guaranteed they'll take those American dollars, whatever money they got, a lot of the Somalis there, and they're going to come to Canada. We're going to see that. Big population of them are going to come to Canada. There's already a big population of Somalis in Canada already, especially the Toronto area. There's already a big population of that. But now it's going to get bigger, more bigger. Respect to them, but does Toronto want that? This city of Minneapolis in Minnesota has a great amount of Somalis. How much? I want to know. You educate me on that. How much Somalis are in uh, the city of Minneapolis? How much? Do you have an idea? Because they're deporting 2,500 of them 100% come March, right? So, man, that state is in a lot of turmoil. First, the daycare stuff, and then this lady getting shot, right? And now, right, it's like, it's crazy what's going on down there, right? And he's threatened to get rid of a lot of the population that's there who are temporary protective status, saying that they were protected before. But listen to the name. I don't know if anyone's going to fight against it. Temporary. It says temporary. So the only way I see them trying to fight this is saying that they got children that are born Americans and try to use some type of lawyer to fight that their children are born Americans, because if there is a couple of them, a good amount of them born there, and just say their parents are not permanent citizens or whatever, say if they deport the parents and the children are not the age to take care of themselves, will they be going to orphanages or being adopted, or how does that work? Or will they have to live with other family members? Because I want to know how long they've been in Minnesota. Yes, yes, it's going to be our problem. Yes, it will be our problem. We have a lot of Somalians. So ain't you, can it? Yes, I'm Canadian, proud of it. So it won't. It affects us. Anything America does. Let me clarify this to you, some of my fellow Americans. Anything America does, it affects us. I don't want to hear that bullshit. It's not like Africa or Russia and all this place. We're connected. We are the biggest trading partners to America. There are vehicles every minute, every second going into America from Canada. Every second, there's American vehicles and people coming into Canada. You know how much Americans are in Toronto? You don't know that. Educate yourself. There's tons of Americans in Canada and in their business and companies. So you don't know what you're talking about. When they start deporting or this whole threat, guess where they're coming? You see how you guys don't like people coming to your country, right? Guess where a lot of them are going to be coming? They will be coming to Canada, and a lot of them will be bringing the attitudes from America into Canada. They'll be bringing that because a lot of them been living in America for a long time. So it affects us. And you guys are on the world stage. You guys make your business known. Not like other countries. You make your business known. You got a guy who's interfering in other countries. So shut the I don't want to hear nothing. You got a guy who's going in all different type of people's countries. If you don't want people talking about you, tell your president stop fucking going into people's countries. Right? Stop going into people's countries, because 100% all of those Somalians, majority of them, are gonna come here. They are. And then we got this prime minister. Maybe he's a little bit different because he's friendly with Trump, this guy. But before, the other guy, he would just let it, like, sorry to say, he let anybody in and shit. This guy right now, who we got, Carney, is with Trump. He's not nice. Respect him. He's not nice. If you guys don't know, this prime minister is nothing like whoever was there before. He's good with Trump. Even though he might play that he criticizes Trump, right? He's good with Trump. Temporary means temporary. You're right. Temporary means temporary. I'm not disagreeing with that shit. You're temporary, man. Even in Canada, we deport. Do you think Canada's nice? We deport a lot of people constantly. Canada is deporting a lot of people, man. But it's certain type of people they deport. Yes, temporary means temporary. You should look on that, people, if you're in Minnesota. I want to just know how long they had this temporary status for. That's all I want to know. I want to know how long this existed for. Because if it's over 20 years, they've been making Somalians come to, especially that state in America, and they've been over 20 years, it's a bad situation for a lot of families, because guaranteed they've been having children over all that time. And those children are born in America. So, what happens if they deport the parents? What happens to the children? Do they take care of themselves? I want to know. I want to know. How's that going to play out? Even though a lot of people don't give a damn about that. There's a lot of people don't give a damn, but that state is in some big turmoil. But then again, on America's defense, this is what I'm going to say. All those people who was doing these daycares from the background of being Somali, it doesn't help that they caught, and it's not everybody, but they caught a good amount of people scamming the American government. You don't do that. You don't disrespect the American law system down there. So if that is facts, right, and you are temporary, he could do whatever he damn wants. I'm straight up. I have, he could do what he wants. Americans could feel what they want. Remember, there's immigrants who come legally and they have to pay, right? They have to pay to come to America. It's not free to come go to any country. They got to pay. But if you're a refugee, you get it free. If you're a refugee, I heard refugees get all types of help, more help than the citizens in Canada and America too. Not just America, they do it here too. They come here, they get better treatment than the people who are born here or who've been here legally in some type of way. You should have made sure you became a citizen in some type of way. Now, does temporary change if you marry a generational American? Does that change? Does a female or male who's married to a generational American change their status? That might be. I don't know all the laws in America, but that can be maybe. That might change something. But right now, it stands in like 2 months. They're going to deport 2,000. I said it before. 2,500 people so far. That's just the first count. And then you're probably going to hear they're going to try to deport a couple more thousand. But Somalis are not dumb. They're not stupid. What they will do if this is a real threat, which it is a real threat because ICE is out there doing a lot of stuff, they're going to leave America. That's what's going to happen. You're gonna have to leave America and go to UK, go to Canada. I don't know if they're gonna go to any other part of Europe, but they're gonna go to what's next for them. So imagine a lot of them are gonna have to leave their homes, right? Leave their friends and families. I'm talking about the ones who are probably legal down there. They're gonna all have to leave. So the census is going to change in Minneapolis right now, in Minnesota. Guaranteed that big Somali population will be cut down. I'm hearing that Trump doesn't like he doesn't want the Somalis in America. They've been there for a good while. They've been there for a good while. So if you have that background, it's not a smart thing to go out in the streets. It's not a good thing to protest against the government. You better not do that. You better not be protesting 100%. That's not, just don't go out in the streets. Do not do any protesting. The only people who are allowed to stay in America from Somalia are diplomats, probably. People who are working maybe close with the government. That's the only ones who are going to be able to stay with their status. Right? So as of right now, or they're claiming they're going to deport a whole bunch of people. Now, will Minnesota be one of the first states, right, where they'll declare martial law if these protests keep going? Will it be? Will it be the full police state like the movies? Will they fully have a big percentage of the ICE agents down there? Yes, it's going to happen. We're in January right now. We're in January right now. February is basically around the corner going to March. So 2 months, just say 2 months. 2 months, the Somalis in Minnesota, they're gonna have to think what they're doing. You don't want March to come. You don't want March to come, and you're still down in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and then the ICE capture you. And then when they capture you, they deport you all back to Somalia by force. So if they capture you and deport you all the way back to Somalia, how will you get back to anywhere else? It'll be hard for you, right? So you're saying 1990 Somalians were given TPS due to civil war in Somalia. 1990. Thanks, Sherry Carter, woman of substance. Woo, 1990. Damn, that's over 30 something years. Are you serious? You have temporary protective status that long? Shit. Wait a minute. That's how much years? That's 1990. Let's see. Shit, that's over 30, what, 35 years. So there's people who have maybe grandchildren, possibly close to grandchildren, who are Somali heritage, who are grew up like, damn. So it's mainly the people they're going after is like anybody who came. If you're a child that time, you're about 35 if you were born 1990. If you're a little bit older, you're 40, 45, maybe 50, right? If you were a parent right now, you might be, damn, they're going to deport a lot of people, man. That's going to affect a lot of people. So you're saying from 1990, the big population of majority, there's a big population of Somalians, just say they took in 10,000, I don't know, maybe more, 10,000 Somalis. And out of the 10,000, they had, let's see, 50,000 children. So they'll be deporting thousands of people, right? Is temp 18 months, then federal government decides your fate. So my question is, what's the population of Minnesota's Somali population? Because I keep hearing they got the biggest Somali population. What is the population of that community in Minnesota? The T stands for temporary. Yes, you're right. I agree. But why so long? Like, why so long? Why they wait so long to? Well, I know Trump's on a mission, but damn, like that should have been gone already from 1990. Like some of them, like guaranteed, there's a population of them who have married American-born people and have children. Even the ones who came there is some of them who married some Americans who are born Americans. So families will be split up. So if you're a man who married a female American, right, vice versa, and you are under this temporary protective status, you're gone. You're gone. You're in threat of being gone. I just want to know the population. I don't think I'm gonna have to look that up later on. I want to know the population of Somalis in Minnesota or Minneapolis, right? Because you're saying from 1990, as the great Tupac said, it's checkout time. From 1990, yo? Come on now. I know people want America to be great again. I know people want things to change. But come on. Just let's get down to earth. You're telling me from 1990, right? And he had his first administration too, and other people. They didn't like change that shit. They didn't change that from 1990, and they let in thousands, guaranteed they let in thousands of them, and they didn't change that. So you're telling me that started from 1990, over 35 years ago. Guaranteed they're gonna be breaking up families, right? Guaranteed they'll be breaking up families. They should have been, I guess they've been maybe deporting them. I don't think so. They haven't been deporting them. All I know is like if it is a problem, I don't know how. Not saying that Somalis in America are not law-abiding citizens, but if there is any problems, the problems are going to go to Canada, and the problems are going to go to the UK, right? And like I'm saying, they said that state has the biggest population of Somalis. 1990, as someone states, that's when a majority of them came in or was taken in under a temporary protective status that is gone, is going to be eliminated by March or so. They're going to eliminate that, and he wants to deport them all back to Somalia, the ones with that status. So right now it is checkout time, like Catwalk said. It is checkout time because if you don't check out in the next 2 months or so, what is going to happen to you and your family, right? So, okay, I got this 2024 census, 260,000 population of Somalians. Whoa, holy shit. Damn. I know we got a lot ourselves. I don't know if it's that much. And that's just one. Wait. Is that just America or is that Minnesota? I don't know. If it's America, then it's spread out. If they're all everywhere. But if that is just one city, which I think you gave me the census to Minnesota, that is a big population, man. Ooh, damn, damn. So you could say 20,000 could be in one small city in that state, 20,000 could be in another state, 30,000 could be there. That's big communities. Whew. And he's just starting with 2,500 in March. Damn, this is this is big. I wonder if people are really talking about this story, man, because damn, that much? 260,000 Somalians, I'm just saying, maybe in Minnesota? Sheesh, that's crazy, yo. Yes, I know people want to live a better life, but damn, I just gotta say that because they're planning to deport these people. So the only thing, though, we gotta clarify is how much of them are born Americans now. Because that 260,000 from 1990, 35 years ago, and they are known to have big families, I guaranteed there are way more than that now, right? Somali lives in Ohio, Washington, and the majority are from Minnesota. Okay, correction. So how much are in Minnesota? Even if the majority is in Minnesota, just call it 60,000 of them are spread out, and 200,000 of them are in Minnesota, right? Either way, when they have children, imagine how much that is. So that number, I'm guessing, right? I'm guessing, just say 200,000 are in Minnesota from 1990. They have almost half a million. It's probably half a million, maybe even 700,000 Somalians. And I'm counting I'm adding the ones who are born, the ones who are born in America after. Because 35 years ago or so, I guarantee a lot of them had children, right? So there's probably almost a million Somalians in like the background in Minnesota. And what's going to be very mixed up is the American ICE is not going to tell the difference. So you're going to get a lot of people who are born Americans get deported. They're going to get deported because they're not going to want to leave America. Some 25-year-old, some 20-year-old, some 30-year-old. They're not going to want to leave America, those ones, and they're going to get deported, right? It's possible there are many. So, what's going to happen to the ones who are born there? Those are the ones who are going to try to stand their ground and say, I ain't leaving because I'm born here. That's all they know. And if they deport them to, no, they're not. They can't deport them, but they will deport them. They're gonna make mistakes. No government's perfect. They're gonna deport ones who are born in America too. They're not going to be able to tell the difference. I guarantee they will deport a good percentage of them. And if they go to Somalia, there's conflicts with clans. There's something called clans. So certain people who leave, the reason they leave Somalia because there's beef from back in the day. There's beef. So now, like other places, you're going to get these Americanized children trying to bring their attitude to Somalia. And you know what what's gonna happen with that? Conflict, even reignite conflict because those Somalians in Somalia might not like a lot of the American born Somali children because of the attitude, right? For example, in Jamaica, a lot of the people they have deported, I'm giving an example, who grew up in America, right? But they're not American. They didn't get their citizenship, and they deported a lot of these people. I'm talking about the bad ones, right? Who do criminal stuff and they don't obey the law. They have deported them. You know what happened in Jamaica because of that? A lot of them go down there thinking they could do the same things what they've done in America and made the crime rate actually raise up. And I'm talking about people who came to America when they're like a baby, when they came to America when they're like 5 years old. They didn't know anything. They grew up in America, got that lifestyle, whatever they are doing, right? And it wasn't a positive one. And these are not all of them. But they went back, well, they got deported to Jamaica and they can't survive in that environment because they're really not Jamaican. Their culture is not Jamaican, they're American, and they think they're going to bring that attitude there, and they just got to try to survive. And that's one reason the crime rate has even risen up more. And that's facts, 100%. So, giving you the example of when you deport, especially ones that are born, right, from America to Somalia, and you know what? You can't blame Trump. It's just, but it's going to make problems in Somalia. Hopefully, they don't come to Canada. I'm sorry, I might maybe this is bad what I'm saying, right? Is it bad what I'm saying? My fellow Americans, I'm saying that hopefully, like respect to the Somalian community, but I don't. We don't need no more people coming into Canada right now. Like there's a big blowback too of generational Canadians complaining about immigrants like America. It's the same shit going on up here. There's a whole bunch of Canadians in the street marching. It's called Canada First, marching against immigrants. They want them out, and they do support Trump. A lot of them do support Trump. Don't get that twisted. They want them out, right? So if this happens, that a lot of these people from Minnesota start coming to the big cities of Canada and they bring that attitude from America into Canada, it won't be good. It's going to give us problems. And we're not going to give them no temporary shit. Guaranteed the government will give them some permanent status. They will give them some permanent status. And I might sound like the bad guy. Hopefully not, because Carney's kind of good with Trump. He might not even do that because they're getting tough on immigration too in Canada. They're stopping a whole bunch of people from coming. Um, they've been stopping a lot of people with their student visas and shit. They've been stopping a lot of people. But this is the place they're going to try to come. And they probably will claim refugee status. That's what they do. They're going to come and claim refugee status. They're going to say it's too dangerous for them to go back to Somalia. They don't know anything about Somalia and shit. And part of this is going to be that a lot of the Somalians who have purchased property in America with that status, they're going to have to sell their homes. They're going to have to sell a lot of things to move, right? They're going to have to sell their homes. What I'm talking is real talk. It's going to happen. And Trump's not going to be soft. No, he's not going back. No, no, no. And what's making it worse is the conflicts, what's going on in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and he's going to blame them, right? Magadushu family reunion, are they ready? You know what? I've learned my research is there's different clans. So just because they're all from Somalia don't mean they all get along. There's different beasts from a long time. That's why they had a war. So there's different groups what come to America and different groups that go to the UK and Canada. So and it has happened when people have been deported, they get unalived when they go back. So it won't be good for certain people who get deported. When they do go back, they are in risk of getting like that. That's a lot of them left the country. So it's not a good thing, man. This is actually big. There's so much conflicts going on in the world, but this is internal. What will they go easily? Will they just give in? Will the Somali population give in and just say, we give up? Will a lot of them start to come to Canada and just leave? Will they sell their homes and just come to like UK or France or wherever? Um, will they do that? Will they do that? I don't think so. Some of them are going to try to fight this. Guaranteed, some of them are going to fight this, but right now, you can't fight Trump. Trump's in his bag right now. You can't fight him, especially in his own country, when it's regards to you being temporary. Like someone said, temporary is temporary. But it was a long temporary. This temporary lasted for what? Almost 40 years, man. Almost 40 years. He's telling me from 1990. Damn. 1990 they had this going on. So I know people are angry. I know people don't, they want their country back, feel that the country's been taken away in America. But just look on that story that, and I know people are hateful, there's racist people, let's be straight up. Um, but just a situation that there's gonna, there's people who are born in America from the Somali family, Somali people, and those people, the families will be broken apart, ripped apart. So what happened is, I think when they put out this temporary stuff, when they took these Somalians in, right? I think they left it alone too long, right? They left it alone too long. If they should have deported them a long time ago. They should have brought them back a long time ago. 30 years, that's too long. 30 years is too long. They should have deported them, let's see, 10, maybe 15 years ago. Maybe 15 years ago or so. Like that doesn't change anything that much because it's been from 1990, but damn. And then I'm hearing 260,000 Somalis they took in. Some of them are spread out in Ohio. The majority is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And doesn't help that this whole thing with ICE is going on in that same state. And just the other day, Vance put out that they're going to be going door to door, right, and knocking. So if they knock your door, right, and you can't speak no good English, let me say it again. They lock your door and you can't speak no good English, they got you. I'm sorry. Even if you have some good status, if it's not temporary, they're going to be looking into you. So if you can't speak English, you can't understand ICE when they come knocking at your door, they got you, man. And Trump, he just smells the blood. Trump smells the blood. He said, oh, yeah, first the daycare with the scamming, the daycare scam. You scammed us for millions, all these daycares. And who's running it? The same Somalis, right? So bad spotlight. And then the shooting, what happened the other day, even though it doesn't have, they're not Somali, but just that, and the criticizing the ICE, all Trump needs to do is saying he's rounding up a lot of uh, um, whatever immigrants, and he gets the support of the American people. That's all he has to do. That's all he has to do. So it's crazy what's going on now. This is serious for the people who live in Minnesota. This is serious for the Somalis. He's not giving you a year. He's not giving you 2 years. He's giving a couple of you only 3 months, barely 3 months. And by the time March comes or so, the spring, right? If you are not out, it's like you got to move out of an apartment. If you are not gone, they're going to take you by force. If you're not gone, they're going to take you by force, take you out, and you don't want to go back to Somalia. So they're claiming Somalia is in a better position. That's what the American government is saying. It's not a place you want to go back to. It's not like they're deporting you back to just, for example, some West Indian country. It's not like you're getting deported back to Jamaica or Cuba or some Puerto Rico. You're getting deported to a place they call the third world country, a place where really there's no government, really stable government. That's where they're going to deport you to. And a lot of the old folks, most of those 200,000 people who came to America, if they're alive still, if they're alive, guaranteed they're all getting deported. So he's going after all the people who came to America in 1990, I'm guessing, that they have a record of. So they know where they are. They know where they all are. They know everything, right? So are you going to fight to stay in America? That's what I want to know. I figured you were Jamaican. My parents are from Jamaica. I'm not from Jamaica. I'm not no. I have Jamaican culture, but I can never say I'm 100% Jamaica because I haven't been in Jamaica since I was 8 years old. That's a long time ago, and I visit Jamaica. I'm straight Canadian, born, raised in Canada. Parents from Jamaica, right, and educated. Uh, like many people who call themselves Americans, who you think are American, their parents are not from what's called America. I can give you a whole list, right? But yeah, I don't know any streets in Jamaica. If I was there, I'd be like you, a tourist, and they'll know that. So I don't know anything but what my parents tell me or the internet. My culture is really Canadian culture. That's what it is, with some Jamaican influence and other influences around the world, right? No different than a whole bunch of, especially people from New York, who say that who you think are African American. Tons of them are from, their parents are from Jamaica or someplace in the West Indies. List of them, whole bunch of them, right? So I'm good. My parents came to the country legal. They came to Canada legal. They were working before they came to Canada. When they came to Canada, they were working and they went to school, right? Educated themselves. And they purchased their own property, a house. Yes. And paid taxes. Yes. Never came here on any free ride. There were not no refugees. Respect to the refugees, whoever, if you had to come through a situation. But my parents did not come for free. They got no handouts. They had to work, and they purchased a house what's worth near $1 million right now. I'm just putting it out there. Purchased a good home, right? So you can get no free ride. That's why I don't support this whole. To me, people might hate what I'm saying. I don't support the well, if you come from war and you have no choice, okay. But I don't support people just coming for free. No, and then when they come, they're not doing nothing. Then when you come to the country, you're not educating yourself, you're not working or trying to work, and then you just have children. I'll be straight up. People might call it hate, but I'm doing facts right now, right? Majority of people from where my parents came from, especially Jamaica. There's other places too, right? But they all come to work. Yeah. A lot of them are teachers, a lot of them are engineers, a lot of them, the list goes on. Trades, right? Even in America, there's tons of people with the same background. Colin Powell, one of your most decorated, what's called, American patriots. He's Jamaican background. I could keep going. I don't want to say it because it's a whole bunch, right? It's a whole bunch of them. One of your best rappers, hip hop rappers, Mr. Biggie Smalls, rest in peace. Same background. I could keep going and going and going and going and going, right? But all those people's parents came and they were doing some type of work. They didn't come to sit on their ass and collect. They were working. They didn't depend on the government to help them. No, 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 right? Not everybody's perfect, but right now, what's going on in Minnesota, temporary. Since you are so educated, you should know that 8% of the Somalians were actually born in America, and you also know that they are also undocumented. Yes, Jamaicans in the US. Yes, I know that. Of course, there's undocumented one Jamaicans in the US, but they ain't doing the same thing like the others. I don't want to disrespect the others, but Jamaicans ain't doing nothing close to the Somalis. Bless up to D2E podcast, my brothers in here. The topic is they're planning to deport a whole bunch of Somalis from Minnesota, where ICE is strongly doing a lot of things, right? They've been in the country for 35 years. 35 years, right? But I have to agree, it's called temporary protective status. And Trump wants to deport 2,500 by March. But part of the reason is because of the spotlight in Minnesota, and it's not helping them, right? They've been doing scamming. Three, I heard. See my brother's on here. He agrees with a lot of the stuff you Americans are saying. We agree with a lot of this shit. And when you're bringing up Jamaicans undocumented, that's a small percent. The majority of Jamaicans are working citizens, work hard, hardcore. When they come here as farmers and shit, work in the factories. A lot of them are educated and they speak English. English they speak, right? A lot of them are running companies, right? Where other people are working for. So that's what's going on, D2E, my brother. What's going on is America wants to deport the Somalis from Minnesota, a whole bunch of them, back to Somalia because they have a temporary protective status. So if you're temporary, I'm sorry, he has something on you, right? 2.6 million gone in 2005, double that in 2026. So are they gone? See, my brother's saying but they've been using the daycare scam for a while. Yeah, they've been using. Sorry to say, they've been using the daycare scam for a while. My brother's saying that, right? So he's saying, where did they all go? The 2.6 million gone. Where did they go? Yo, D2E, where did they go? You could tap in. I got the invite thing on here. But I'm saying, where did they go? Where did the 2.6 million go? They probably came to Canada. They probably went to the UK, right? But now it's going to get worse. Your family members back home. I don't know. I don't have no one from Somalia. I'm not Somalian. Back to wherever. I'm not Somalian. And people back home is actually better than certain. Let me tell you something. Not everybody wants to go to America or Canada. There's people in where my parents are from doing way better than people in Canada and people in America. And I'm born in Canada, so I can't go to Jamaica. Educate yourself about educate yourself instead of talking shit. I cannot go to Jamaica. I don't know anything about Jamaica. But there's people who are living better in Jamaica than people in America and people in Canada. You think they like the cold and shit? That's the stats from ICE. Oh, that's the stats from ICE. So 2.6 million, where did they go? I don't think they went back to Somalia. So this is what I'm saying, D2E. Where are these people gonna go? Where are they gonna go? You think they're gonna go back to Somalia? The American people in here, do you think they're really gonna go back to Somalia? Do you think they're gonna stay for the Americans to deport them? Hmm? To people that come from other countries and come have your own. So you're saying stop giving money to people that come from other countries. You come have your own money. Yes, I agree. And Canada especially loves giving money to people. They love giving money to people. We're giving friggin' 200 million to the Ukraine and giving this much money to this people. That's why there's an uprising. There's a lot of Canadians who agree with what you're saying, right? A lot of Canadians are angry that there's all these immigrants flooding in Canada. It's the same way how Americans are getting mad. But don't get twisted. I'll tell you something, give you a little tip. Besides watching American politics, go and check out the Canadian news if you can. If they didn't block you guys already, because they'll do that. They are blocking you guys. A lot of Canadians are angry right now, right? They don't like what's going on. Bermuda, most are living in hell hole houses. Yes, that's Bermuda. You know what? I hear different stories. That's Bermuda. No one's there's people living in hell in America right now. I seen the documentaries. People are living hell in Canada too. Don't think Canada's all sweet. People are living in hell in Canada too, under reserves and stuff. People are living in hell in everywhere in the world. And definitely, look, I see New Orleans. It's coming soon. Yes, I know something bad is coming soon. It's already here. Definitely in New Orleans. You see New Orleans, right? Right? I seen a couple documentaries on there. Doesn't look too good down there. I seen a couple documentaries on a lot of the cities. I do my research about America before I talk. And there ain't a bed of roses everywhere. Ain't a bed of roses, man. You got 400 and something murders alone in Chicago. Normally it's higher than that. They said that's the very good for a year. 400 and something murders. Don't let me keep going. And I can't even count how much murders are in New Orleans. So you guys have your own problems. Don't try to be talking about anybody else because I know my research about America, American history. ICE is coming to Canada. No, they ain't coming to Canada. You're dreaming. You are dreaming. That's when you're going to see white against white. You think it's immigrants you're going to be fighting when you come to Canada? It's going to be another white man who's fighting for his Canadian pride. That's what's you're gonna see. Not with Carney as Prime Minister. You're right. Sometimes don't judge a book by its cover to think you could just go anywhere. Don't judge a book by its cover because that just will make a bigger conflict. Canada's not America. Canada made sure they're friendly with everybody. Canada has a lot of allies. The whole world is in Canada. So when you come to Canada, you're fighting the whole world. I'm just telling you that right now. But ice is coming here, just snow. Yes. Yeah, snow. Snow's coming. That's the only thing what's coming. You don't think we have our own shit down here? You don't think we have our own shit? We don't have to worry about that. They know to filter out the system down here. The only thing is coming to Canada is snow. That's the only thing what's coming to Canada is snow. But right now, man, yo, it's gonna get bigger, the story. You're gonna hear more people talking about it. That they are getting rid of a lot of the Somalis. There's a big population in Minnesota, and I didn't know from 1990, they've been here on temporary protective status. That's 35 years or so. A lot of people had children, and a lot of those children are adults probably now, and they're not going to want to, they're going to end up taking some of them too. That's why I'm hearing they want to take away some type of citizen type of ship. Correct me if I'm wrong, from people who are like maybe first generation or some shit like that, right? 35 years to scam. Yes. Oh, see, my brother's with you guys. Holy shit. You saying 35 years to scam the system. Man, if I was to mm, 35 years to scam the system. Woo! Holy. Respect to everyone. I try to respect everyone, but my brother is saying 35 years to scam the system in America, right? You know what? I gotta laugh because they're caught that daycare thing, and the daycare thing doesn't look good. That the these daycares were ran by Somalians, and no one's been in these daycares, and they've been getting government money for years, right? Especially under Biden, probably. Biden just let everybody in. Remember, my friend told me that Biden just let a whole bunch of people in, let a whole bunch of people in, right? Biden, Joe Biden. So Trump is doing a cleanup job. I got to be straight up. If Biden done this, Trump is just doing a cleanup job. A lot of the stuff Trump does, and people may hate me for this, I support. There's stuff what Trump does, I do support it. You get what I'm saying? There's not, and people might not like me in Canada for this unpopular opinion. There's not too much wrong shit Trump has done. What has he done? The only thing he's doing wrong now is screwing around with other countries and not paying as much attention to his own people. That's the only thing, right? They came to Venezuela, right? Why not Canada? Israel rulers. You know why they didn't come to Canada? I'm going to give you guys something, a gem. He said, why? Let me read this again. You said, Frank, they came to Venezuela, right? Why not Canada? I'm going to tell you why. It's not just the resources. You say they're with Israel, right? You say they're with Israel because there's a big population of Jewish people in Canada. Powerful Jewish people in Canada. The second biggest population of Jews out of the United States are in Toronto. So guess what? If America's with Israel, right? Israel's with Canada. Figure that out. You didn't know those things? You didn't know that? Outside of Israel, let me say it again. The most Jews, right, are in mostly Toronto. And they are powerful with the economics. So this is their home. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. And then you got a big population. If you guys don't know, let me educate you, right? A big population of Chinese are in Canada. Let me tell you the other population. A big population of Indian are in Canada. So when you fight in Canada, you fight in India, and you fight in China, and they have a reasonable population of Russians. Yes. And I could keep going. The list keeps going. What kind of people do you think is in Canada? And you have a big population, what's growing, of Americans leaving America to come to Canada. They've been leaving America. You think there's no Americans in Canada? You have thousands of Americans who live in Canada. You think everybody in America is happy with America? And this is not just recent, long time ago they've been leaving. They've been leaving America a long time because they could do better other places. So what do you think? America cannot attack no Canada. It's not Venezuela. There's no excuse to come here. It's not Venezuela. He brought up that 51st state because he is hoping we will say, oh yes, maybe we'll join. That's not going to happen. Canada beat America in a war, right? Burned down the first White House. If you guys are not educated in that, let me say it again. Canada beat America in a war a long time ago and burned down the first White House. If you don't know, But right now, the big crisis is in Minnesota, man. And my brother, right? He support. Well, I'm not saying he supports, but yo, yo, you guys are gonna come to Canada. We already know that, right? Didn't Rome have kings and queens? Tell me what happened in real life. Where he said, didn't Rome have kings and queens? The Pope, the Pope was the emperor. There's an emperor of Rome. Emperor. Emperors. I don't know about the kings. I don't know about the queens, but I know that the Pope, at one point, the Pope that's in America right now, there's an American Pope, was the emperor of Europe. That was the leadership at one point, right? There are thousands of Canadians enjoying their lives. Yes, they are, of course, and those Canadians have money. Let me read this, right? And there are thousands of Canadians enjoying their lives in the USA and are done with Canada. Those ones who you're talking about have money. Those are the wealthy ones. There ain't no poor Canadians going to live in America. They ain't begging. There's no poor people going to America. You can never say that. You crazy? It's people who are wealthy, the richest Canadians, or people who have businesses, or there's some type of exec who go to America and they still come back to Canada. They still come back to Canada and they travel the world. Right? So the ones who you're saying are happy, of course they're happy. They're rich. They're rich, but if you're poor, you don't want to live in America. You'll suffer. Imagine me paying for my health. Imagine you're paying for your lady who's having a baby. Read D2E's words, man. He'll give you some knowledge if you don't want to listen. Yo, you guys, it's a nightmare down there. If you are in America, you better have a good job. You better have health insurance. Yes, you have probably some good services when you have money, but the majority of people in America ain't rich. So if you're poor, you are suffering in America. That's why some people like to probably commit crime and they don't care about going to prison. I hear when you go to prison, you get your teeth fixed and shit like that, right? Well, that used to be free. That used to be free. Now we are on that style of American style, paying for certain types of shit. But yo, if you are poor, you don't want to live in America. Only if it's refugee status. Only the refugees will take that. No Canadian wants to go to America being poor. Only the rich who are educated, probably down there, go down there. Did you hear that Las Vegas, they've been losing a lot of money because the main tourists are Canadians, and a lot of Canadians stopped going to America, right? Do you know that Florida, one of the main tourists are Canadians, and when they stop going to America, that hurts that infrastructure. Same thing with Las Vegas. Did you know that? Or you don't know? Well, I'm telling you now, it is happening. Only Canadians going to America are people who are well off. That's who's going there. And they're more strict right now. Right now, just to go through the border, they're charging Canadians more. They want to see your social media I didn't want to see your bank. Would you guys want to do that? If you're traveling to another place, show your bank information, your social media status for the last couple of years, and pay more. Would you travel outside of America for that? Let me know. Let me know. So, Kat, what you're saying, respect to your opinion, but the only Canadians who are going there are the ones who are wealthy, who are going to America right now. Ones who could afford it, ones that have a reason to go there. No one's just going there for nothing. But right now, there's a big filtration of Americans kicking out the Somalis out of Minnesota, Minneapolis. They're going to kick them out because it's temporary status, right? This temporary protective status is over. Even if they've been there for 35 years, they don't care. Trump says he doesn't want any Somalis in America. Like, he's raw, man. He doesn't want them in America. Normally, that would be looked on as hate. I know I've said a lot of things, but I'm giving you reality unfiltered, right? They're caught in the daycare scam. Not every Somali is into scamming, but it doesn't look good right now for Minnesota. And they're deploying, if not thousands, of ICE agents to Minnesota right now. This is how they get ready, right? Like Venezuela. They're getting ready with thousands. So when March comes and they start deporting, knocking on doors and deporting a couple hundred of them, there's no fight. They'll just take you, right? So some people, you better leave if you don't want to go back to Somalia. You better leave. Trump wants to make cars in America, not Canada or any American car in the world. Hooray, Trump. Jobs for legal citizens. Okay, respect to that. There's cars, they're already leaving. There's already companies that have maybe shut down because the prices are high from the tariffs, right? The prices are high from the tariffs. But before Trump, because Trump's not hasn't been in power forever, um, the biggest trader is Canada. You need Canada for a lot of things, and we need you. So, yes, there's already American cars being made, I guess, in America. I'm thinking there's some vehicles being made in America, right? But a big majority of them are made in Canada, right? Vice versa. Vice versa. We're making stuff and bringing it to America. There's a lot of stuff coming out from Canada what goes to America. For you guys to have a lot of your houses built, you're getting a lot of lumber from Canada. Yeah. Do you know the East Coast of America relies on a power grid from Canada? You remember when that blackout happened? Do you remember when that blackout happened? Do you remember when the blackout happened? I always had to question that. How is America relying on Canada for energy? The big superpower, how is the big superpower relying on Canada for energy? And this is facts. No one's making this shit up. I'm not making this up. How is America relying on Canada for energy? Right? And you rely on us for the lumber, a lot of it. Right? And there's other things too. That's why Trump wants to make it the 51st state. He said all this stuff, what I'm saying, what we got. He knows what Canada got. That's why he wants to go to Greenland. But the real story is now, you're next. You are next. Sorry, my fellow Somalians. If you are a temporary, protective, whatever they say, citizen or whatever, they are getting rid of you. And you got to leave. You got to leave and come. Well, I would say come to Canada or go to the UK. You got to leave somewhere where it's safe right now. Problem is he goes there. Problem if he goes there. The big problem, what I'm stating right now, is going to be a domino effect because there's a lot of people who are scared. They're saying, do we stay and fight Trump or and with lawyers and shit, or do we go to Canada, or do we go to the UK? Do we go back to Somalia? Most of them don't want to go back to Somalia. The majority of them don't want to go back to any Somalia. Right, D2E? Of y'all boys is fans of the Devils. Yeah, what do you mean the devil? You're talking about Donald Trump? Or are you talking about Donald Trump? Who are you talking about? Who's the devil? Because right now, some people will call Donald Trump the devil. Right now, I guarantee the Somalians in Minnesota is calling Donald Trump the devil and the ICE the devil because what they're doing. But all right, if you're temporary, he got you there, man. I'm sorry, he does got you there, right? He does got you there if you are illegal in America. You have to go by the laws of the land. Anywhere you go, even if you don't like the system, you gotta obey the laws of the land. You have to. You got to go by the laws of the land. That's how it works. You can't fight against the law, especially in America. So I hope some of the Somalis take it in really deep and really think about it. I didn't know it'd been 35 years that they've been on this temporary protective status. That's too long. That's thousands of families, thousands of families, right? Who had children in America. And just say they did have like a child who was very young when they came. Those people have they're like grandkids now, right? So it's possibly now there's like second generation Somalis in America because if someone came and they were adult in 1990 as an adult and they had just say they had a child in America, that child is 35. By the time you're 35, you could have children, a couple of them, right? So there's like two generations right now. Cars are becoming distinct for flying. Cars are being designed right now. Yes, you're right. Yeah. And they're doing that in Canada too. Canada's big with technology. I'm just going to give that out to American people. Canada is very big in technology already. The smart cities, what they talk about on the net, we already have them. We already have cities like that, smart cities. A lot of stuff is updated. Not saying every city is old fashioned in America, but I visited America 2 times, and it's really old fashioned in some cities. It's not like, for example, Toronto, right? Now we're just getting rid of computer phones, what it's called pay phones outside. It was like computerized. We're just getting rid of that shit right now, right? A lot of things is like a smart city. We're high tech with technology because we have the world here. We have Canada has welcomed every culture in for years, easily. But now it's getting to a point that we gotta close it off right now because guaranteed there's gonna be a whole bunch of Somalians coming to Canada's major cities and could cause a problem right now. So you're saying cars are used to be for the rich? Open your mind. Yes, you're right. I know that cars were for the rich. Same thing with cigarettes. Cigarettes wasn't for anybody. That was just that was a special, right? Cars were for the rich. The electric car. It was an electric car originally. I know, right? I know. And horses was for the rich too. Reaction 50 Cent Phantom. You want a reaction for 50 Cent's Phantom, man? All I know, 50 Cents had to get into the booth and do some more music, man. I'll save that for another episode. Once upon a time was only the poor. Mm, that's what D2E is saying, right? But the main thing is what you think's gonna happen, and I'm gonna ask D2E this. So it would be good if you could have tapped in. What is going to happen to Minneapolis after they deport a whole bunch of these people? If they allow them to deport them, what's going to happen to that population? My money off the dirt of earth. I got money and my body look like money. Some of you got nice homes, but your bodies look homeless. Yeah, there's a lot of people. You're saying you're in shape, you work out. That's good. That's good. That's good to feel good about yourself. Yes, there's a lot of people with money and they don't care how they look, right? Wants a pilot license to drive a car. Holy bless up to everybody in the chat. But for American right now, I know you guys are angry and mad. There's a lot. See, I tell people on here, there's a lot of people who support Trump. So far, the majority on here support Trump. You do support Trump, Donald Trump. There's not too much people who hate on Donald Trump I'm seeing right now. Not to say there ain't, but there's not too much I'm seeing saying anything bad. And you know what I noticed? All the celebrities, just recently, all the celebrities, all the influencers are so quiet now against Trump because they're scared. All these people who would go out and support the protesters, they would talk loudly about Trump. I'm hearing they're talking loudly about the lady who passed away in Minneapolis. They're starting to do it. The last what I don't know what the award show was, but they're starting to talk. They're starting some of them, and they should be scared if they talk against Trump. He'll dig up something on you, right? No one wants a. So he says some of them are moving from America. Yeah, they've been moving. The celebrities are they've been scared this whole thing. What's going on with Trump? I don't hear anybody calling him out, talking, like getting at him. I don't hear anybody going at Trump in America, right? Thank God for Trump, King Jaru, the King of Science. See, thank God for Trump. See, it's only the average citizen, which nothing's wrong with that, is saying something against him. But the celebrities, the famous people, are not saying anything about him because he got the ice. This is what he got. This is Trump. This is what he got right now. He got the ice, his personal army, right? And what's going on in Minneapolis right now is a cleansing or filtration. Within 2 months, he's gonna set, well, he already sent them out deployed, right? A whole bunch of ICE agents to take out, right? To take out the people, big population of them in Minneapolis. And those are the Somalis. But they're gonna be confused, some of them, and deport or detain people who are born in America. And like I said in previous episodes, the ICE is not just for no immigrants. The ICE is not just for undocumented citizens. The ICE is for all Americans, because they sent ICE out to Chicago. Remember that. They sent the ICE out to Chicago and other cities he claimed wanted to bring down whatever the unrest. So it's not just for that. But this is going to be a crisis if no one defends the Somalis in Minneapolis, or it's going to be a big crisis. It's going to be a very big crisis if no one defends them. But really, what's the defense? The temporary. What is the defense if you're temporary, right? It says temporary protective, whatever. You're temporary. That's what screws it up. You're temporary. Only thing they're going to say is, how come it took so long? Why did it take so long for you or the American government to deport these people? The excuse is that it was unsafe in Somalia for years. And just now, because Trump's in power, now it's safe for those temporary people to go back to Somalia. So now it's safe for them. Now it's safe. So all those people, you're in danger of losing your homes, they might even freeze your, but if you have a bank account, damn, they're gonna collect a lot of real estate, man. Bank accounts, they might take that. Homes, if you own a home, hopefully you put that home in your child's name who's born in America. If you own a home, they'll take that. If you own a car, they'll probably take that. Anything you own that's worth something is in danger of the American government taking it over if you are of Somali background and you are one of these temporary people. Will we see these raids going on? Will we see this on television, them deport all these people? Right now, it's not a good thing for the Somali population in um, Minnesota. It's not good because all of this conflict over the lady who got shot and then the daycare scam, he's just putting a lot of people down there to quiet things, well, to teach people a lesson. That's all I could say. What Trump is doing is trying to teach a lot of people a lesson, showing an example, right? And right now, people they have 2 months, a short period of time to really get a defense, to really fight for their rights. I'm talking about the Somalis, to fight for their rights, if they have any rights in America. Because if you don't fight, or if you have no right, the only place for you to go is back to Somalia. The only place, if you stay there. I'm telling you right now, this man is serious. I don't know if the people of Minnesota who are Somali think this man's just talking. The man is serious. The time is up, right? It's like someone said earlier, it's checkout time. The time is up. You either make a decision to leave right now, and I'll be promoting it. Maybe you have an opportunity in Canada to leave right now, maybe go to the UK. That's it. You have an opportunity to leave. That's what I'm saying. 2 months. You could look this up. This is recently. Today's January the 13th, right? Recent news. You could see it in the description of this live, what I'm talking about right now. You have limited time, people in Minnesota, the Somali community. You have limited time to be comfortable in America. And it doesn't help if they knock at your door, and you cannot speak English, and they can't understand you. They're just going to put you in a van or some type of truck, drive you off to some type of unknown location, and they do their little investigation. And when they find that you are one of those people, the 260,000 person who came in 1990, then you're gone. And that's real. That's real facts. That's facts. You're going to be gone. And no one can help you from then. Then you're going to have to try to go into another country. Bye-bye, Somalis. Sorry, right? Who's this? Magic 888. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Obviously, there's people from that state who don't want them there. Bye-bye. That's what's going to happen. And that's facts. Exactly as this person put it out. Bye-bye. So I've mentioned many aspects of what's going to happen. It's going to be a domino effect. It's going to affect other countries when Trump fully enforces these people to leave. It's going to be a domino effect. Other people are going to feel sorry for them, and they're going to say, come, you could come here. You could come here. But remember, these people are Americanized now. I don't know if you know what Americanized means, meaning they've been in America so long that their culture now is not just Somali, it's Americanized, American. Some people came there when they were like 1 year old. Some came when they're 5. Some may came when they're 10. So if you were 10 now and it's been 35 years, right? You're 45 right now. If you were 5, right? You're 40. If you were a baby, 1, like you get what I mean? Like there's people who don't know anything about Somalia, but they were born there and they came in the beginning of this whole temporary shit. They don't know anything about Somalia. There's a whole bunch, even though they're illegal, whatever you want to call it. There's a whole bunch of them. They don't know anything about Somalia. So that will make a big problem. So you're gonna get, for example, some 35-year-olds, some 40, 45-year-olds, maybe up to 50-year-olds, right? They're teenagers when they came. They are not gonna know what to do. A lot of these people have families too. They have children. And those children are going to lose their mothers and their fathers if they get deported come uh, starting March. A lot of families will be losing their house. A lot of families, they'll be losing their jobs. But like I said, he has the right to do what he's doing. Trump, I'm guessing he has the right. He's taking off that status and he's going to get rid of a lot of them with the ice. With the ice. So, you people, let me know what you think. Is this a good idea? A lot of people think Mr. Beat gospel music. A lot of people actually support this action by Trump. And not just white Americans, there's a lot of black Americans who support this too, and other Americans, they support this too. So it's not just a black and a white thing or whatever. America is just, it's all Americans, all of America. I shouldn't say all of Americans, but a lot of Americans support this. They support this. Get them out the country. Get them out. And you have to look on it. It's like he's trying to play fair. If he got rid of a whole bunch of Mexicans, he got rid of a whole bunch of Venezuelans and and he wants to get rid of Haitians. You got to play fair. Got to play fair. So if you were, he's saying, if you're illegal or you're not a full citizen, you're gone. We gave you this time. Now you're gone. You ain't special. That's what he's saying. You're not special. You're gone. We gave you enough time. You're gone. If they do it to some people, they got to do it for all. That's what he's doing. He's just playing fair. If we're doing it for some people, we're doing it for all. He's saying we don't give a damn if you're from a refugee, whatever war-torn country. It's been 35 years. Somalia had a lot of time to get their shit together. That's what he's saying. And if it's too bad that we're gonna get you don't have anything down there, but you're ruining our country. That's how he's feeling, right? And the whole scamming thing did not help. The whole scamming thing did not help with the daycare. Just saying, people. But please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Like and support the platform, right? Support the platform. Got a lot more content coming. Someone had a request to break down the 50 Cent, whatever his track, what it came out. But yeah, dark days for Minnesota, dark days for the Somalians. It might be different for certain Americans, but it's dark days for them. You guys got to make a plan how you're going to deal with this because Trump ain't joking with you. He ain't playing with nobody. He ain't playing with nobody. This isn't the first time in the last 40 years that people have been deported in much numbers. Those people used American skills and survived and quite well. Obviously, they're very comfortable. Those people. I could agree with that. What you're saying, but it's going to be a lot more than just the people who they documented from 1990. It's going to affect. It's not just going to affect. Remember, it's 35 years. Put that in your head. 35 years, all those people had children in America. And those children had children too now in America. A 35-year-old man or woman, a lot of them have children in America, right? And some of those people are adults too. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I understand people want to protect their country, and he's saying this is not the first time, but it seems like it is because of social media. It seems like it is, right? All these people been comfortable in Minnesota, Minneapolis for years. They've been comfortable. I've been hearing for a long time there's a big population, a big Muslim population, a big Somali population in Minnesota. So it's going to be a domino effect. They will search for other places to go if they feel threatened that they're going to lose everything and they have a short period of time. right? Too bad that Minnesota will be a target. But bless up to everybody that came through. This is Sean Myrie of the D2E Down to Earth podcast. Please subscribe. I'm out.